it's a tough process to go through. But yeah, you got to just be careful out there, folks. Pay attention to
Yes.
your paycheck. Welcome back, folks. This is episode 24. It's about your paycheck. We on a Friday recording early morning. What's good, Walt? How
Yeah,
you doing,
man.
sir?
I'm good, man. It's actually Good Friday for those of you who
Yes. God
celebrate
bless
and
you.
are honor that date. It's Good Friday for those people that observe that. So man, it's good. It's a good day.
Yeah.
We have everything. I'm speaking from my point of view. I have everything I need.
And
Um,
likewise, yeah.
I'm good, man. I am good. Life has its challenges
Yeah.
from day to day, but bro, we are here. We're made for this. We
Yep.
can do this. If
Yep.
you're listening to this episode, whether you're an employee, whatever, whoever or whatever you are, you can do this. You got it. So that's how I feel.
Human,
That's it.
alien, don't matter.
Cow, chicken.
Yeah, chicken, yep. Kung Pao chicken. You said Kung Pao chicken? No, see, you're gonna get me hungry. I haven't eaten yet. Dang.
Yeah, I said a
Yeah, man,
cow
I'm
or a
loving
chicken.
it. What's that?
I said a cow or a chicken.
Oh, a
You're a
cow or a
foodie.
chicken.
Yeah, yeah. How you
I heard
doing, man?
Kung Pao chicken. I'm good, man. I'm good. Loving Friday. Friday's good. Friday's always a good day. Got my mom down from New York visiting, so it's cool. Get to hang out with her today and this weekend and whatnot. I was raised Catholic, so this is a holy day, a holy weekend, and going to, yeah, just enjoy the day. And that's it, man. We were supposed to record this last weekend, but it just got so tough, backed up and going through things. Um, but I'm excited for this show. We are talking about a few different things, right? Shoot, we're
Yeah.
doing season 1 and 2 review
Yep.
because we've been doing this show and it's like the add to, and we're still finding our way, and we'll get into that. But we're doing the season 1 and 2 review, and we also have a tax file reminder for everyone, for all the
Yes.
W-2 and 1099 employees. I think
Yes.
1099s have a different schedule, but still we must file our taxes, and we're going to talk about some of those things and the little nuances that folks might not know. But
Hmm.
before we get into it, we, as always, we have some pay news updates that we'd like to share. Walt's up first with a good one, a good little nuggie. Excuse me, bro. Man, I'm sorry, man.
You okay?
Nah, I'm feeling a little sick. Which reminds me, crap, man, I need to put in my sick time.
Oh, what system do you use?
Oh, Time Track Go, the simply better employee time clock software that is going to make your life easier. I don't know if you know, man, but it already has a unique graphical employee time card, and it's awesome because it helps you quickly identify and fix the mistakes.
That's right. Now that you say that, they just announced the addition of an automatic PTO accrual earnings, so you can say goodbye to those manual calculations. Time Track Go's new automatic PTO accrual feature takes the hassle out of tracking those earned and accrued times, assuring accuracy and consistency for both employees and HR teams.
Oh, that's golden. That's awesome. You know what? That's right. I remember that. I read that you can choose from various rules like yearly, monthly, pay period, hourly, and hourly percentage to seamlessly align with your company's policies. It includes new state sick leave. Awesome, because I'm not feeling good. That's going to help. And you can do vacation hours that automatically increase with length of service.
Man, like, how could someone find out what a simply better solution could do for their business?
Oh, to learn more, they're always doing a 14-day free trial. Someone should go to their website at www.timetrackgo.com. That's TIMETRAK go.com. Or if they want to call, the number is 888-321-9922. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, so for those of you who are San Francisco 49ers fans, this might have irked you a little bit.
Yeah, word.
So
Word.
there was an article a couple of weeks ago that came out about a payroll error from 2022 that ended up costing the 49ers a draft pick in 2025 and a
Yep.
dip in the 2024 draft that's going to be going on next month. So they
Wow.
dropped
Yep.
it like 4 or 5 spots in
Yep.
round 4 of the 2024 draft, and so that could have some impact. It might not. We don't know right now, but this payroll error, basically what happened is that they understated the some money that should have. It wasn't an egregious error that was found, but they had to have some penalty for it, and as a result, these penalties happened to them.
So
I know the Niners fans aren't happy about it. So
yeah. But you say it wasn't egregious because it, even though, if I remember right, even though it was an error, it still didn't bring them under the cap when they should have been over the cap. They were still under the cap, but it was still error. And we shared this on our other show too, but I think it's so relevant for us employees, right? Because remember, this about your paycheck. It's the first step in your financial wellness journey, and it's the only stop for employee information. Now, the reason I think it impacts employees is because look how something at the payroll department level, whatever, that now has a trickle down effect throughout the whole organization, right?
hmm
So now, if they suffer in the future, in the next few years, because of that, it impacts all the employees, the
yeah,
players. The players are employees. I don't know if folks forget sometimes that these players are actually employees as well. It
yeah,
impacts them, and it's we have to be mindful of these things and be aware. You gotta. I don't know what to say, but it just impacts all, and I think that's something that folks got to be respectful, or mindful
yes.
of.
Yes. This happened in 2022, but it's having consequences in 2024, 2025 for
It
the
happened in
organization.
22? Gosh,
Yeah.
that part I
hmm
missed. Wow. So look at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
So think
important.
about
Yeah.
that. That's why for you as an employee who's listening to this, it's important for you to check your tax docs. Just in case your social's wrong, your name is
Yes.
misspelled,
Yes.
something is wrong on your W-2, and you
Your
try to go
wages are
file.
overstated or understated.
Yes.
That could have impact. Don't
Yes.
think you're getting away with something because that has impact,
Yes.
right? I've
Yes.
known business owners in the past that try to understate their salary, and it's
hmm
impacted them later on when they try to go and buy a house or buy a car, because now your salary is not what it
Exactly.
really is. You understated it thinking you were slick, thinking you was
Yeah.
avoiding taxes. No, you were really evading.
Yeah,
So
so think about that. So it could have been a clerical error from HR payroll entering your
yeah,
data during onboarding or something like that. They could have put in one extra one digit off of your social or put in somebody else's social on your record, and you try to go file or you're able to file, and hopefully they would have caught it before you if they
yeah,
process your stuff. Imagine it goes through, and then next thing you know, like you get a letter from the IRS. Last year you filed this,
audit.
actually
Yep.
incorrect. You owe us $9,000.
Yeah. Dang, you hit him in a gut punch. God, gosh.
It happens.
But
It
no,
has.
it is very true. And you think about it, I know we're so far in advance, so far along with technology, but there's still a lot of challenges, right?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
some small companies are still preparing W-2s very manually. Don't think that, oh, this should be all automated. It should be. We need to automate to elevate, but it's not there. That everyone's not there yet. Even with the age of
hmm
AI and all this stuff, companies still not. There's still technology that needs to catch up. A lot of
Yep.
technology is built a long time ago, and they're just like, look, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It costs a lot of money
Yeah.
to overhaul. We know firsthand developers
Yes.
are
Yes.
expensive. They can be shady. They can be difficult,
Yeah.
tough business. It's a tough process to go through. But yeah, you got to just be careful out there, folks. Pay attention to
Yes.
your paycheck. Look at your stub. I think we got to come out with
Yes.
some rules for this show. Like you got to look at your stub, got to look at your W-2, things that we just have to do as employees, right?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, ready for mine?
All right. What you got, man? Yeah.
I got some stuff. It was really alarming. We always talk about paycheck to paycheck, and we were throwing out that stat of 70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Unfortunately,
Mm,
it has grown. Forbes and
mm,
I think they partnered with somebody here somewhere in the article. I'll say, but Forbes put out a survey, and now it's up to 78% of Americans
Jeez,
are living
man.
paycheck to paycheck. Yeah, it's a tough. And we throw around that term, paycheck to pay. What does that really mean? Because that's what got me going. Is like, what does this really mean? So the definition for the purposes of this survey, living paycheck to paycheck describes a financial scenario in which an individual or a family's income barely covers essential living expenses like housing, utilities, groceries, transportation. One missed paycheck would put someone living paycheck to paycheck in a difficult spot. When you're living
Yeah,
paycheck to paycheck, it's difficult or impossible to save, let alone invest. This makes you even more vulnerable in times of emergency or lost income. And then there were for a few stats that we like. We love
yeah,
stats here, but I don't want to overstat people. But I
yeah,
just thought these particular were important to share. 2023 Forbes Advisor survey revealed that nearly 70% of respondents either identified as living paycheck to paycheck, or even more concerning, that their income doesn't even cover their standard expenses. Of those 70% that responded, 40% identified as living paycheck to paycheck, 30% said they can't even cover their standard expenses. So they're
yeah,
every month they're falling behind. More than half of
yeah,
these respondents reported living paycheck to paycheck. However, families with five or more children reported the lowest incidence of living paycheck to paycheck. So that's crazy, right? If you have five kids, it's that those folks are less likely to be paycheck to paycheck. And for me, I'm thinking, all right, they had to get frugal really quick.
yeah,
They had to learn to be conscious of their dollar. They're not misspending. They are actively saving, right?
yeah,
Aggressively save, right? And it makes sense. You got five kids. You
yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. You got 5 kids. You could have been at a different place in your life when you had your first or second
Mm-hmm.
kid, and then career things happen and change. Like, in our other show, when we were speaking to one of the gentlemen about earned wage access, Chris, he
Yeah.
said that he started out with his wife and they had one
Yeah.
kid and it was a struggle. But
Yep.
then when they got to four
Same
kids,
here.
you
Yep.
know, life had gotten better.
Yep.
So maybe that has something to do with it. But I do like your point about the them having to learn how to be frugal and how to budget
Yeah.
and
How to
say, okay,
budget. Thank you for saying that's the
yes, and
word I
how
was
to
looking
budget.
for.
And before you continue here, I want to put it in a different way for our people to understand. When Brian said 78% of Americans, think 8 out of 10 people.
Oof. Yeah.
Eight
Yep.
out of 10 people can't afford the home that they're living in or the car
Yep.
that they're driving. That's what that means. Like
Yep.
they're living paycheck to paycheck. That means, hey, 8 out of 10 people. So if you were one of 10 people in a room,
Yep. Eight of
you're more
y'all.
than likely one of those people. Yeah, 80 of y'all can't afford
Yeah.
to live the life that you're living.
That's a scary way to put it, man.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it's funny because
What does it really take to lead with impact in today's ever evolving world? Welcome to Inside the C Suite, the podcast where influence, energy, innovation, and empathy converge. Hi, I'm Christy Honeycutt, your host. Join me as I sit down with the boldest voices in leadership, visionaries who are not just making decisions, but making a difference. In every episode, we explore the heart of leadership. How do high performing leaders harness their energy? How do they lead with empathy without losing their edge? How do they turn disruption into innovation and pressure into purpose? You'll hear unfiltered stories of adversity, resilience, and the raw moments that shaped true influence. This isn't about perfection, it's about presence, passion, and the energetic exchange that fuels transformation. Inside the C suite is your invitation to lead from a deeper place with intention, connection, and courage. If you're ready to go beyond the surface and unlock what really moves leaders to action, hit subscribe and step inside. You can find us wherever you get your podcast fix. Inside the C suite, well, we're an energetic exchange. Let's lead with influence, live with energy, and create with empathy.
the flip side of it, like you said, the one kid, that was the biggest stat. of paycheck to paycheck. And then the other one is more Americans experienced an increase in spending rather than increase in income in 2022. And we talk about that all the time. The bag of groceries went
Hmm.
from 40 to 8, say $80. You know what I mean? It says according to the Federal Reserve's report on the economic well-being of the U.S. household, two-fifths or 40% of adults, 4 out of every 10 adults, reported an increase in their family's monthly spending compared to the previous
Hmm.
year. And we talk about that all the time. The bag of
Yeah.
groceries just shot up out of nowhere. My mom always tells me too, oh my gosh, this went up and this went up. The prices just keep jumping up. A few more little nuggets and then I'll be done here. Let's see. Gen Zers, they broke it down by generation. Gen Zers cited high monthly living expenses. Basically, these are what the generations are saying. So the Gen Zers
Hmm.
said there's a high monthly living expenses. Millennials said there's a lack of budgeting and financial planning. Gen Xers reported low income, and baby boomers cited rises in cost of living. Yep, makes sense.
Hmm.
Um, and then I just have a little quick, how do we offset that?
Yeah.
What are some things that folks can do to offset it? The most common response was reducing expenses. You want to
Yep.
cut the subscriptions out. Maybe you don't need Netflix, Hulu, Disney, Prime, Paramount, Peacock, and then
Especially if you have cable.
oh
And
gosh, yes,
in most smart TVs now, they have live TV that you can turn
yep,
to on the actual television if you just have Wi-Fi, and you
mm-hmm,
just use those channels. You can get the local stations there
yep,
for free.
that's right, that's right. Good call out. Thank you for that. So reducing expenses was the first one. Creating a budget, like we always say, right? This is again first step in your financial wellness. Budgeting is huge. Saving and investing is the other part of that 1, 2, 3 combo. And then the last one was respondents were inclined to relocate to more affordable state or country or take measures to break the paycheck to paycheck cycle.
Yes, a
Yeah,
lot more Americans are becoming
yeah,
expats,
heck yeah,
expatriates. So, and they're leaving the country. For instance,
yep.
Mexico. I think the Mexican peso to the dollar is like 20 to
I'd be scared to
1,
go to Mexico.
like
Narcos,
like
we ain't
18 to
narcos.
1.
Yeah, but I hear you. South America.
You know,
Remember Chris? Chris from the other show. We had a guest on the other show about earned wage access. If you guys want
Costa
to peep
Rica.
that
Yeah.
conversation, he lived in Costa Rica for a year. And guess
Yep.
what? How you know what inspired him? Have you ever have I don't know if you guys have watched what
Turner's
was the show?
International.
House Hunters International. Yes. And
Yes.
I've watched that show and me and wifey have been inspired the same way. We saw like little mini mansions for $500,000 a month. And we're like, wow,
Less than
shoot.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, these were big places.
Yeah.
Really nice apartments for $200-300, but U.S. dollars, right? So yeah, so those are the things that folks are doing to offset that. And yeah, let's get into it, man. This is a fun show because I always love the reviews and talking back on where we're at, what we've done. You're up first,
Yeah.
bro. What's your reflections on the past 2 seasons? You know,
Man, these last few seasons have been exciting. And I think I go back to the why behind it all for us. Why we decided to
good.
add to this.
Yes,
So
yes,
one was because of someone that we connected with on our other show.
yep,
It's about payroll.
yep.
Gerard M. Hall, that payroll guy.
That payroll,
He mentioned about the consumer or the employee needing to be empowered, needing to be educated, needing to be
yep,
informed about how their pay works. So that's
yep.
what really put the bug in our, or what you've been saying
The
here
battery
lately,
in our
put the
back.
battery in our
Yep,
back. That's
yep.
really what did that, and what was the why. And when we started doing it, we were just like, oh man, this is great. This is, we're gonna help people out, and we've learned stuff ourselves. Like doing this research for this show has helped me. And help
Absolutely.
keep me on track too. When we talked
Yep.
to you about budgeting, it had me check myself too. When we talked to
Hmm.
you about cutting out expenses, I was actually going to looking at my
Likewise.
subscriptions, as Brian
Yep.
mentioned, and
Yep.
going and cutting things off. Like, man, okay, yeah, this is true. You know what? I don't need this. I do need to cook more. I need to stop eating out. I
Yep.
need to start doing this and doing that, and meal prep more, and do this and do that,
Yep.
and self care and all those different things. And so that was the first thing I had, and then how we've grown along the way, man. How we've become more empowered,
Yep.
and how that is trickling down, and we're putting that out there for the people who are listening and tapping into the show. The challenges that it's brought, like trying to navigate two different shows on two
Mhm.
different social medias, and or we have
Mhm.
more
Oh
social
my
medias than that.
gosh.
But
Oh
like
my
trying to
god.
navigate everything and editing and
Whew.
all this stuff, like and how we've grown.
Yeah.
Because at first we were just like, oh man, I know me, I was like, oh man, this is a lot. And then I
Mhm.
just had to
No, it
change my
was.
mindset and just okay, hey, this is what we got to do. Got a lot some time to do it, and so I've seen us grow along this journey in these first two seasons, and I think that as we progress, the creativity, the things that we put out there are just gonna be even more impactful on the people
Absolutely.
that we're trying to serve and we're trying to help and empower here. As Brian always says, this is your first stop on your wellness journey, your financial wellness journey. This is your first stop. Check in with us, listen in. We got some great stuff coming that we're going to talk about a little bit later before we close out the show. But those are really the things that stuck out to me during these first two seasons, man. And I'm excited for what's to come. What about you?
All that, and you made me think of when we say a lot and stuff like that, like the phrase that has been is was a quote I read one day and said, "You can't complain about what's on your plate if your goal was to eat." Been a lot, but we're working through it. We're figuring it out, and I think this is a great opportunity to say, folks, hey, what you will see on our social medias is a consolidation of both shows, right? When you go to those pages, you're going to see two great hosts, two great shows. Just like our website. So it's a unification of our branding. It's a streamlining of it all because we were struggling. It's tough to, I forgot who I was just talking to this about, but I think my new team, shout out to both team, old team, new team, everybody's cool. No disrespect to anybody really. But I was saying to my team members that the influencers, people think that these influencers just post a few videos. Even Tabitha Brown, right? She said it. I've heard her say it in her post. She said, "Oh, they just think I post 3 times a day." There's so much work that goes behind the posting, the recording, the
Yes.
videoing, the editing, the being thoughtful about what you're actually going to talk about, planning out the topics, getting researching and updating. It's a lot of work, and it's only if you like it. That's why you got to pick subjects that make sense, and you got to do things that make sense. Anywho, you'll see that on our branding. You'll see now two great hosts, two great shows, and that will be unified. You'll see both shows. You see the branding in the background as two different shows, same topic, two different sides of the coin, though, right? Payroll and employees. It's very different, right? It's the folks
Yeah.
creating the check, but it's the folks also impacted by that check, right? Payroll is life, and we're talking about all those aspects of it. So that it made me think about that, and we're my notes is we're still developing this product for you, right? It's still a work in progress. So as you reach out to us, tell us what you want to hear about, right? Because that will help us craft the next show for you. Payroll is a
Yeah.
bit easier, but the paycheck topics range widely. Like you can we could paycheck like your paycheck. Talking about our paycheck could take us in so many different directions. And I try to be mindful of not going too far off the mark, right? Because I
Hmm.
think a lot of folks take a lot of liberties and then they start talking about things that are like, it's not really a, hey, if it's about your paycheck, let's talk about that. Let's keep it focused there. But there's even still like we're still trying to make sure that we're delivering worthy content. And we even tried to figure we're constantly talking about who our audience is, right? We get sidetracked
Yeah.
sometimes and the stuff
We
is too
blend.
content heavy. Yeah, but it blends over, and although it lends well to blending over, we still have to be mindful of who our audience is, who we're talking to. And honestly, what one of the things that grounds me in who I'm talking to is one of my best friends, Elmo. His name is Elmer, but we call him Elmo. Shout out to L E. And he's really he helps me because he's a big fan of the show, great supporter, but he also challenged me and was like, yo, I'm having a problem and I don't get this part. And I was like, oh wow. And he's really helped. And I think we were like at the start of doing this
Yeah.
when we had that.
Was he
Yeah.
he was the one who brought you his actual pay stub?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. I was in New York last year, and unfortunately, for a very sad event, we lost a good friend of ours. Just the salt of the earth. They say the good die young and the bad die hard. and he was
Yep.
definitely a good one. Shout out to Phil. During that time that I was there, he brought it up. I thought he was kidding, right? He brought his paycheck, and I was like, oh my gosh! And it was a small thing. It wasn't a huge deal, but it was just something that just wasn't really clear on the explanation and the breakdowns of things and whatever.
Hmm.
And that really, oh wow, this is needed. Folks still, doesn't matter like how old you are, how long you've been in the game, whatever. You still may have a question about your paycheck, and that's really the goal of it for me, is to, and it's like Gerard said, we're not doing good at customer service. We're not doing it at the payroll level for our payroll department folks. If you're a payroll professional listening to this, do better, be a better customer service proponent for payroll. There's a plenty of opportunity there. What up? Go ahead.
Let me speak to that before you continue on really quick.
I think that's it.
Um,
Hey, this is William Tincup. Listen, we did a series for iSolved called Heroes of HR, where we talk to HR practitioners, and these are just your run-of-the-mill, everyday, slogging it out, 300 employees in Cedar Rapids HR pros. Mostly, it's centered around iSolved and what they do with iSolved, but also they talk a lot about kind of the day-to-day rigor of HR. If you're curious about that, search for Heroes of HR wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you.
so to the customer service aspect, like you may think, Brian, I have to challenge you on that because we do really good with customer service
Hmm.
and this and that. We follow up in time. What I think Brian is trying to articulate, and what you know, you said Gerard or whoever said that.
Gerard Hall, yeah.
Um, yeah, is that we need to do better, which is why we started this show of educating the employee. We need to
Yes,
step it up a level
yes,
of
yes,
what the employee knows and equip them so they know, okay,
yes,
boom, if I have a question, I can go to my employee guide that was given to me by payroll and look on this page and oh, the answer is right there for me.
yep,
Boom. So and then you could teach them about actually how their pay works. That is
yeah,
another level of customer
yeah,
service, more
yeah,
so than sitting back and waiting for the employee to come to you.
yes.
So I think that is where we could definitely improve. I'm just trying to add some the right word to it,
No,
but
I think you're being fair. I think that's fair. And you made me think of like what you done in your department. You put out a survey, customer service
yep.
survey. So as a professional, if you think you're doing well in whatever you do, how do you really know that? Had
Yeah.
you done a survey to your customers and have you gotten feedback?
Yes, and so that's the thing, because you could have a great overall score and say 80% of my customers that replied said we're doing great, but you may need to work on that
You got to focus on
20%.
that
Like, oh,
20%. That's right.
how can we get this? How can we get this to 90% and then
That's right.
100%?
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
because you'll have those people that have had a bad experience with it, whether you're in payroll or whatever industry you're in, they've had a bad experience with somebody giving them customer support. Somebody's told them
That's
the wrong
right.
thing and something else happens. They sent an email or they made a call and somebody didn't return their call at all or didn't respond to their email, and that's their experience, even if
Yep.
it's not the norm, right?
Yep.
I'm sorry to stay in this, but I just wanted to
No.
speak on that a little
No, I think it's very relevant. No, it's relevant. Yeah. Yeah, it's all good, man. So yeah, I think so that's been my review. That's my thoughts of the seasons. And we say 2 seasons. You guys might be like, well, you're only on 24. So our seasons around 10 or 12 episodes, right? We do it a quarter at a time. So there's 4 quarters in the year. So you'll get 4 seasons a year from us. And then we're still getting organized around this show, and so we're
bit.
only
Yeah,
2 seasons in. Yeah, so look at that. We didn't even start this show until late last year. Then, if that's right, yeah, that's about
yeah.
right.
It
Because
was
it's
last year. It was
yeah,
last year.
yeah. So it's yeah. That
Yeah.
again, folks, we want to keep delivering a great product for you all. And on that note, we ready for the tax reminder?
Yes, sir.
All right. As you guys know, April 15th is coming up. It's time to file your taxes or apply for an extension. Is a little nugget that I don't know if everyone knows. You can apply for an extension that push you out to, I think it's October, right?
Yeah.
Gives you more time. If you're not ready, go and file that extension. One of the things I wanted to share about this reminder is that some folks think that they don't have to file because they haven't been working, right? They feel like,
Mhm.
oh, I didn't get a W-2, so I don't have to file, and that's not true.
Mhm.
If you're an American citizen in the U.S., you should be filing even if you're not getting any income, because you never know what type of credits you could be qualifying for. You could
Mhm.
actually just get money if you file and you fall in the. I don't know what they are, so don't. Oh my gosh, Brian said we're gonna get money. We don't have to work.
Yep.
I don't know, but that
Yep.
is the truth, right? You don't know what you're qualifying for. You still have to file. And
Yep.
federal at the federal level, it's free. So if you're not working, then you may be free. I definitely wanted to. That was another point that I wanted to cover is like TurboTax. They actually forced them to change their advertising this past year because it was a little misleading, right? They would always say, "Oh, file for free and file for free and blah blah blah," but only
Yeah.
thirty
Yeah. Yeah.
percent of the country can file for free, or rather, 30% of W-2 employees could actually file for free. So they made them change their advertising to reflect that. So be careful. You
Mm.
may not be able to file for free because usually the state charges you something. Again, you should file regardless.
Yep.
You never know what you qualify for. If you are not ready, go ahead and file for an extension,
Yeah.
and just be mindful that only 30% of folks that can file are eligible to file for free. I think that was it as far as. Yeah.
What you got?
Oh, and my greatest statement of all, right? To avoid is legal. To evade is illegal, right? Rest
Yeah.
in peace, Bill Manning. Shout out to a great CPA we had at one point, and yeah. So that's it for me. What you
All right.
got?
I won't be long. I have a couple of different things, just some tips. Really, Brian gave you the more technical pieces of it. So I'm just gonna give you some tips and stuff about some things that you may consider, right, when it comes to filing your taxes, right? And shout out to you, Brian, for wanting to do the reminder
Yeah,
on the
no
show and
doubt.
stuff. And you know, so the first thing that I didn't include here yet, that there is a fee if you don't file for an extension with the IRS, right?
Oh, so if you
Yes,
don't file and you file late, there's a fee?
yes. So for every month
Oh,
that you
ooh,
file late, you'll have to
ooh.
pay an additional 5% failure to file penalty on the total amount that you owe if you owe taxes.
Oh, dang.
So that's
Good
a
one.
caveat if you
That's a
owe
good one.
taxes.
If you Oh,
So
okay. Wait, so if there's no penalty if you get money back?
no, according to not from what they're saying, it's important to
Okay.
know. Yeah, if you owe taxes, yes, you'll
Got
have
it.
to
There's
pay that
definitely a fee.
5%. Yep, for
Right.
every month. And there's a
Yeah, it says
caveat here that
interest and
says
penalties. Yep.
yeah, it's important. It says it's important to note that a month doesn't mean 30 days to the IRS.
Do you know what it means?
It says filing your return even 1 day late means you'll still be hit with the full 5% penalty. So if I go to file on
Oh
4/16 and I
my
didn't apply
gosh.
for an extension and I end up owing, they're going to add 5% to what I owe.
Unbelievable.
That's something to consider. So you want to make sure you take care of yourself. Either file for an extension or
Yeah.
file by the
Or file
deadline.
on time for
Yeah,
real.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yep.
Exactly.
The other things that I have is overall, a third of Americans say that they do their own taxes, while 56% say that someone else prepares their taxes for them. So that tells me that the majority of us don't don't want to go through the hassle of doing it
Mhm.
because it's too much,
Mhm.
and we use some other software like TurboTax to
Yeah.
just walk us through, or we
Yeah,
pay
it's
somebody
tough.
at H&R Block to do it for us. Okay, here's
Yeah.
my stuff. You tell me what I get back or whatever.
Yep.
So,
And I
uh,
would suggest the more complex your situation is, the more likely it is that you need help because you're gonna
mm-hmm,
miss some. You're gonna miss something.
mm-hmm,
And these tax professionals are trying to help you le- maximize your return, right? That's the
yes,
point of this stuff. Or mitigate your liability, meaning decrease the amount that you have to pay,
yes,
right? They
yeah,
either they're either trying to get the most back from you, or depending on how you file and how you finances, they're trying to just keep you paying the least amount as possible because they want to avoid stuff legally. legally. You want to
Yes.
write off the right things. If you are business owners out there and you want to write off the right things, if you itemize as a non-business owner, you want to itemize the right things. The more complex your situation is, the more likely it is that you need help with it.
Another tip is that you can go directly to the IRS and file your taxes on the IRS site.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to go to
Yep.
H&R Block. You don't have to go there. You can go
No,
directly to the
I actually
IRS and
wouldn't
file it on the
even.
IRS.
I'm not a fan of H&R Block at all. I went there one year and had to tell them what to do. Yeah, I'm not a fan of them because
Well,
I'm not
that
a fan of
you might
any.
you might have had a person who was a little green when it came
Well,
to
that's the warning that I'm gonna give. These places, they often hire people that just have very little experience exposure, and they're just helping. Yep, they just help people along, and then they're not tax experts. They're just like, yeah,
yeah.
push that button. They're asked question. They just going down a survey of questionnaire of sorts. Yeah, I'm serious. So be careful with that.
No, I know it. Yes. So there's another tip that I wanted to share, and be mindful. Everybody's tax situation, money situation is different. So some of this may apply to you, what that I'm saying, and some of it may not. So it had a little tip in here on this article that I read about said whether married folks should file jointly or file separately. And
Interesting.
they said you're almost always better off filing jointly,
Yeah.
as many tax benefits aren't available if you file separate returns. Now, again, your situation might be different where you have to do it that way, where
Hmm.
you might marry, you have to file as single or whatever, but you may miss out on a couple of different tax benefits by doing that. So that's
Yeah.
something to think about. And then the last thing I had, even though Brian had a little chagrin with H&R Block here, paying a tax
Careful.
professional may be wise if you have a lot of different or different money sources. If you had investment losses, if you had received an inheritance, or you settled an estate, something like that, right? It might
Hmm.
be more beneficial for you, instead of you trying to figure all that stuff out on your own, to have somebody else do it. Whether that's a tax professional, a CPA, your own family accountant, whatever it may be, somebody who knows what they're doing, it may be better for you to do that and go seek tax professional advice versus you trying to figure out and trying to tick and tie everything, because you could miss something or
Mm.
you could do something wrong.
Yeah.
And like finding the right tax professional. And when you go to pick somebody, do your research, look at the
Hmm.
reviews. So if you had a good experience with one H&R Block, so don't assume that every H&R Block is the same. Don't
They are.
assume that every tax filing place is the same either. Do your research,
Yeah.
see what the ratings are, what the reviews are on the place that you're considering to go to, and see if they are a 5 star but they only have 2 reviews. eh, I
Yeah.
get a little leery
That's
like
their
that. Okay,
cousins. Yep.
that yeah,
That's the
that's
family
them going on
members.
there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But if they have 1,000 reviews and they're like 4.2, oh,
Fair.
okay, that's pretty
Fair.
good. 4.2 out of 5, okay, that's not bad. That I may consider them. So you want to really do your research when you
I think
go with
that's
the
yeah.
tax preparer.
Yeah.
And because I've heard horror stories when you find somebody and they set up a fake shop, they
Hmm.
get all your information, and you're supposed to get a refund, and then you go back to that shop and
It's
they
gone.
clear it out.
Yeah.
Like,
They pop up.
what?
They do a lot of pop ups for tax time. Yeah. You got to make, yeah, you just, like you said, I think what you said is do your research, make sure they're reputable, ask right questions. Go ahead and Google what are the right questions to ask these folks. How
Hmm.
long have they been doing it? And really try to vet them very well
Yeah.
because, again, some of these places just hire people for the season to help go questionnaires, and
Yeah.
that's not what you want. You want ideally a CPA. They're a little bit more expensive.
Hi, I'm Stephen Rothberg,
And I'm Jeanette Leeds.
and together we're the co hosts of the High Volume Hiring Podcast.
Are you involved in hiring dozens or even hundreds of employees a year? If so, you know that the typical sourcing tools, tactics, and strategies, they just don't scale.
Yeah, our bi weekly podcast features news, tips, case studies, and interviews with the world's leading experts about the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to high volume hiring.
Make sure to subscribe today.
But they know what they're doing. They're tax professionals by trade, by certification. So yeah, be careful out there, folks. It's tax season. A lot of scams happen during this time. right? So you want to
hmm
be mindful of that. Be careful. The pop up, like Walt just said.
you may get a text from somebody saying, "Oh, you owe taxes.
No,
Click
no,
this." You may get an
yes,
email
no.
saying, "Hey, your refunds are available." And so just be careful, because these scammers, going to the stats what that we had on, I think it was this show. We might have done it on both shows, that cybercrime is going to increase to 10.5 trillion next
Yeah,
year.
I'm sure we've said it here too. Yeah, we talk about
Yeah.
it all the time. But so on that, I thanks for bringing that up. Capital One just put out a good email to me, and it's
hmm
5 tips to protect yourself. It says Capital One or any other financial institution will never ask you to make payments for correcting fraud activity,
hmm
right? Never send, number two, never send any money to anyone who claims your account is compromised or who threatens to cut off your services. Instead, call the company directly to discuss payment methods. A utility company will never request a payment via Zelle.
hmm
Number three, be suspicious of people you don't know contacting you via the phone or text asking you for payment. These scams aim to create a false sense of urgency and hopes you'll send funds before verifying who you are and who you're talking
hmm
to. Make sure you're sending
hmm
payments to reputable companies and contacts you validated from a trusted source. Number four, report any suspicious activity immediately by calling the phone number on the back of your credit card or debit card, or by visiting our report fraud page. So Capital One has a report fraud page. And number five, check out Capital One and Khan Academy's free financial literacy course to learn more about red flags, to watch out for more ways to protect yourself from new scams. And this is all true. We have inside sources for folks that are, what is it, cybersecurity experts. The number one preventative measure is education, is understanding what to do. And I'll leave you with
hmm
this. Did you see The Beekeeper yet?
No, you told me
You got
about
to
it
see
though.
it. You have to see it. You go ahead and rent it. It's worth it, and it'd be applicable to this show. Watch The Beekeeper, folks. This stuff is real. The great, amazing Felicia Rashad is in it. It's a
Jason Statham.
Jason Statham gives you the it's an action flick for sure, but there's a learning piece in the first 20 minutes. If you don't like all the action and stuff like that, watch the first 20 minutes. I promise you're gonna want to see the rest of the movie because you're gonna want to see these people pay for what they did. It's basically about scammers and how they do this. And Felicia Rashad was a victim in this movie of the scam.
Mm,
And I'm telling you, it's an eye opener, and you need to check it out. And something, oh my gosh, I'll be terrified to go through this. But yeah, I think
all
that's
right.
it, man. Oh no, well we got Safe Talk.
We got Safe Talk, and we got to close out the show, sir.
Yes, sir. So our Safe Talk segment of today's show is, are taxes legal? We always hear these conspiracy theorists and these posts on
Yes.
TikTok and social media. And gosh, I've read books, and this is for years and years. Many people with all levels of credibility talk about, are taxes legal? And I honestly don't know the answer to it. But what I do know, and we've even talked about like the what taxes do and the tax. And
hmm
I do know that there is a case for it going to the right things right now. Does it get abused? Do folks are mishandling and misappropriating at the government levels? Yeah, probably. Do we need an overhaul? Do we need oversight? Do we need transparency? At the very yes. So there is a purpose to it, right? You can't run a group of people without those people contributing to the cause, right? Right? If you go to church, the church fund and the building fund, right? This is real, right? If you like your church,
hmm
if you like these organizations that you go to for free, how do you think they stay afloat? It's donations, it's taxes, right? Our roads are paved, our lights, our waterworks, these things all happen because there's government funds flowing. So we have to be, and I'm not saying just blindly, oh yeah, no, it's the right thing to do. We got to, oh nope. I'm neither left nor right. I'm just an American trying to balance it all out. What about you?
Gotcha.
What you think?
The question is simple and complicated at the same
Yeah.
time, right?
Yes, exactly.
Are taxes legal from a constitutional standpoint, from a law standpoint? Yes. The 16th Amendment says that it's legal.
Oh,
And
really?
that
Ah,
yeah, and that Congress shall have. So this is what it says: the 16th Amendment provides that Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes on income from whatever source derived.
oh, wow.
So it is legal, but to your point, while it's legal, is it being overseen properly?
Properly. Yep.
Are these funds being used and allocated correctly by the people who are supposed to be collecting it and using it for the people, right? Because
Hmm.
you're supposed to be paying government workers with it. You're supposed to be improving infrastructure with it. You're supposed to pay our post workers, all these different type of things that we're supposed to do, the military and all this other stuff, the things we're supposed to do with the tax money,
Hmm.
Social Security for people's retirement, all these different things that we're supposed to be doing that is legal, but I think the oversight of it is egregious
Yeah.
because we as Americans should be able to see, and I could be wrong. If you're listening to this, you're a tax pro or whatever, and you're listening to this, and you know some stuff, come on the show. Let us know.
Yeah, for real.
Like, especially if there's something out there, so if Americans can go see where their tax dollars are going to and how their tax dollars are being used. The thing about it, I wish I had a stat for how much is collected in taxes every year from Americans. I wish I
Oh,
would have looked
I
that up
mean,
because I would like to see, okay, if we are doing that, then why are things the way they are?
see, of course, it doesn't want to give you the big number. Well, right away, it says the average American family pays about $20,000 in taxes every year.
Okay.
That's billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, it's not going to be an easy number to find. That's
So
the
think
average.
about that. So you said that's 20,000. So it says there's 84, that's basically 84 million families.
Families.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to do that. There's too many
So
zeros for me.
yeah. So you probably have to do
84
a calculator
times
on
20.
Google.
So that's probably
Hmm.
like $16 billion dollars if I'm doing the zeros right. I don't know.
Times 20,000.
84 million times 16 trillion maybe. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It might be 16
It's
trillion or
more
whatever.
zeros than I can comprehend, folks. Sorry.
Yeah. So say, so hold on.
Plenty of money. Plenty of money.
I can always edit this out. So I'm using a Google calculator.
Go for it.
84 million. That's 84 million times
20,000.
20,000. Yeah,
Jazillion.
it's a jazillion. It's something.
Oh
A
god.
gazillion. Yeah, so literally,
Gazillion. Yes.
yeah, it's 1.68 something.
Wow. Yeah,
Mhm.
a lot.
So
Yeah.
think about that. If we're paying that much in taxes, are we seeing the results of those things being done? Are we
It's
seeing them?
arguable, right? It's yes and no. It's yes and no. It goes into politics really hard, so I don't want to go too far there. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
so apparently it's legal, folks, because Walt confirmed.
Amendment.
It,
Do your
is
research.
is
Go
it
read it.
managed proper? Yeah, no doubt. Is it
Yeah.
managed properly? Is another wildly different question. Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff.
All
It's gonna
right.
be a good show. I can't wait to chop this show up.
Yeah, man. So
Clips.
tune in to next episode. We're gonna have our season 3 preview, and we're gonna share our employee origin stories. We're gonna share how we started out as employees, our first jobs, and
Yes.
what that
Yes.
experience was
With
like,
that with
and everything
yeah.
like that. So
That's a
it'll be
good one
good.
because shoot, I started working young. That'll be even a good even debate. What is your first job? Because
Yes.
I delivered papers as a kid, right? I did the whole paper delivery. I used to shovel driveways with my boy Brian. He's
Yes.
another Brian. Shout out to
Yes.
B. But yeah, all those things. So what is your first job, really, right? So that's interesting.
That's
All right,
right. That's right.
folks. Yep. All right, folks. We love you.
All right.
Peace.
Peace. Before we sign off, here are a couple quick things. Don't forget to follow It's About Payroll on LinkedIn and It's About Your Paycheck on Facebook and TikTok. Thank you for being a part of our payroll community, and thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep going.